to allow Dubbo residents to get some rebates and subsidies on some solar panel installations on their house around Dubbo. And as a result of that, and then some other programs that came into place, Dubbo became the #1 solar connector in the entire nation. So on a percentage basis, there were more houses in Dubbo that had a solar panel on their roof than anywhere else in Australia. So that was a really good thing for Dubbo residents. I was very proud of the fact that I was involved in that. But it also showed that people are interested. So at school level, when I talk to school students are learning about the environment. They do believe that climate change is real. Wellington is an absolute hotspot for renewable energy. I use that slightly poor pun there, but Wellington's got a couple of things that line up perfectly for it. You may be familiar with the Bedangwa area, where you've got 33 wind turbines, and I'm not sure if you've seen some of those, but they're already up and operating. So they're now spinning as we talk. They're generating power for this area, for this nation. And when those 33 wind turbines are up and running, just from those 33 out there, you'll generate enough power for 49,000 homes. So not 49,000 people, 49,000 homes. Proposals out there for a large solar farm. And to give you an idea of the scale, that one, the biggest solar farm in the southern hemisphere that was ever installed, it was a couple of years ago at Nyngan. They put in a 250 hectare solar farm, and they talked about that generating enough power for 43,000 homes. There's a proposal going out at Suntop for 1,000 hectares, so 4 times the size of previously what was the largest solar farm in the southern hemisphere, and so that'll generate 4 times that. So on my roof of my house, I've got 10 kilowatts of solar. That's 52 panels of solar panels on the roof of my house. Sometimes you'll see them in someone's farm, and they couldn't fit it on their roof, they put it in their yard. It's a bit like mobile phone towers. All of you are young enough that you've just grown up with mobile phone towers. I'm a bit older, and so when I was growing up, we didn't have mobile phones. 1987 was when mobile phones were first introduced in Australia. 1990, 26th of July 1990, the mobile phone network was turned on in Dubbo. So that was the first time we saw a mobile phone tower put up in Dubbo. And some people used to complain about mobile phone towers because they thought they looked visually unattractive. They thought they looked very ugly. But when people wanted to start to use mobile phones, everyone said, can you put up more towers, please? Because they wanted to take advantage of mobile phones. So even though sometimes they don't look great, jump forward 5 or 10 years' time, they'll just be part of the landscape. A mobile phone tower, a wind turbine, solar farms will just be part of our overall landscape. Pump the water from where it's fallen down to back up into a dam above, so that when we need more power, we can let it fall. And that's called pumped hydro. And the idea of that is that when you've got excess power, say for example during the day, you've got solar panels generating excess power, they can pump that water back uphill, so at night time when you want that power, you can let the water fall and generate power. So pumped hydro is a really clever way to store power. You don't just need batteries to store power, you can do it in other ways as well. Pumped hydro is one of those ways. So my vehicle is a purely electric vehicle. There's no petrol engine in it whatsoever. It's only got electric motors, one electric motor at the front, one at the back to power the 4 wheels of the car, and the battery is the complete base of the car. The base of the car is built like a normal car, but then a battery is put on top of that, so that the battery is only so thick, but it goes across the entire base of the car. So it's all battery power. When you look at where the world's headed, by the year 2025, the prediction is that about 20% of the cars that are bought will be electric cars. No petrol motor whatsoever, electric motors only.
It's like an iPad. Not even. Subway number.
Carbon fibre. Has anybody got electric cars?
I must do one of
Hybrids? Are you hybrids? I use a golf cart. Do you guys know what hybrid cars are? You do know what hybrid cars are? Oh right, so there's no engine in the front. He said he's allowed to get in, so I can get in. Yeah, he said it doesn't sound different.
Hard to hear any noise from it.
Yeah, it's pretty smooth and quiet.
I'll just give an impression of what I was talking about before with that acceleration. So if I go to a stand start and then I just put my foot down. So that's the sort of thing, not that I'm...
That was almost like a G-force pulling you back.
So I'm not advocating going fast, of course.
I've never been in a car that fast. And we own a lot of cars, like 30 cars. We're a car fan.
And that's because all that torque is available from zero.
because electric cars power goes straight in, whereas a petrol car has to go through the pistons and run the cam, and fuel has to burn before, as this power is just being sourced straight in.
But again, the nice thing is that it's quiet, you don't hear the engine noise. When you're driving on the highway, it's much easier. We can have a conversation like we're having now because it's just a little bit more wind noise.
And also with petrol cars, you're digging stuff out of the ground and all sorts of other stuff that's ruining our environment.
And hasn't that entire journey, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Dickerson, been powered by the sun?
I'm here in St Mary's School in Wellington, and I've got Ella and Jack here with me. So first of all, Ella and Jack, we've just gone for a quick ride in an electric car. Is that your first ride in an electric car?
Yes, it is.
So Ella, what were your impressions?
It was really quiet and smooth, and it was just pretty good.
And the flies, we still have flies, unfortunately. Yeah. And Jack, you've got a few cars. Your family doesn't mind their cars. How'd you find that?
Very powerful and economical. Other than it's like a petrol car, it's not as nowhere near as economical. Probably with power and fuel and stuff, and also you're not with electric cars. You're taking power as well. You can produce from the sun and from wind, whereas with petrol cars you have to dig it out of the ground and wreck the environment over and over, because you still have to build new machines and stuff to be able to do that. So I think electric cars are a pretty good way of the future.
So we've also had a bit of a talk about renewables, and I have mentioned that renewables in Wellington are certainly commonplace. We've got a solar farm, we've got a wind farm in operation now. We've got some solar farms proposed around this area. So again, Ella, you're not convinced about anthropogenic climate change, but you still think renewables aren't a bad idea?
I love it, love the idea,
Yep. And in the big picture, in terms of that renewables picture, you can see that Wellington and other places around the state will start to get on board more renewables.
I think it's a great way for the future, as like our generation is going to be like you guys someday, and we're just gonna we're gonna use what we've got now and just build it and make it better, and
and so you can see 11 of the wind turbines from where you live. And how do you think they look?
They look fine. They're not a worry. I can't hear them.
Yep.
It's good.
And Jack, again, we've talked about renewables a little bit in the classroom. What are your thoughts on renewables?
I think it's a great way of the future. We just need to get more people to know it and get it out there, and so we can use it.
And it does take time, doesn't it? It's not like we're all using...
It's not like it's going to happen in the next 5 years. It will probably, over time, eventually we'll use a lot of renewable energy.
And I think that's important. I think some people are saying, let's just stop all coal fire right now, but that would be a disaster for the economy. I think we've got to transition, and exactly what you said there is, to be honest with you, much more sensible than I've heard a lot of politicians say. That transition phase where we've got coal-fired power now, we're staying and moving to renewables, but transitioning across seems to be the sensible way to go. Have a talk to our Prime Minister one day and get him sorted, will you? Thank you, Jack. Appreciate your time. Thank you, Ella. Great to come along and chat to you.